Hello, Lowell back with another Clair Obscur Expedition 33 guide. This time around, I'm helping you find Sciel's best two weapons, Chation and Blizzon, both of which will carry you through much of Act 2 and a lot of Act 3. There are, of course, endgame weapons that this video doesn't cover. However, if you're curious about those, we've got a detailed weapon location guide over at gamerguides.com proper. This video is also as spoiler-free as possible, though it does detail some overworld traversal abilities you eventually unlock in Act 2. So Sciel's Fortell mechanic is a bit harder to grasp than, say, Mael's stances or Lune's stains, making it difficult to choose a weapon for her. But one weapon found at the end of Act 1 and another found in an optional area you can reach in Act 2 make building around this mechanic much easier. Let's start with the former. When you reach the Stonewave Cliffs at the end of Act 1, you'll automatically loot Chation if you beat up the Greatsword and Reaper cultists found lounging about not too far into the area past this large gap you can grapple across. I've heard, but cannot verify directly, that other players got Chation elsewhere in the Stonewave Cliffs, but from the same enemies. If you didn't loot it from where I did, rest at a nearby expedition flag to respawn the enemies and beat them up some more until you do. Furthermore, there's a late game area, that I won't spoil here, that houses a much higher leveled version of Chation. Anyway, Chation is great because its first passive, always apply 10 Fortell with Sun skills, allows you to stack Fortell quickly with cheap skills like Marking Card that, wouldn't you know it, also applies Mark to the enemy. You can then use a moon skill like Sealed Fate on Sciel's next turn to consume the Fortell to deal 5 to 7 high damaging hits. Multi-hits like this help bypass the 9,999 damage cap, and then you get to enter Twilight for even more damage bonuses. You can then use Mark's card again to channel a whopping 20 Fortell, and then use Sealed Fate again to apply even more crazy damage. The level 10 passive allows you to consume Fortell to stacked burn, which when combined with other characters like Mael, can create an incredibly powerful combination that gets even better with the level 20 passive. However, this does come with a catch. Sciel will take double damage, so don't be afraid to equip Pictos that increase her health or Auto Shell, for example. The next weapon, Blizzon, I missed during my playthrough, but my colleagues at GamerGuides swear by it. First, it deals ice damage, which gives you an alternative damage type to dark, as many Nevrons resist the edgiest of elements, but most of Sciel's skills use it. Second, with a single moon charge, Sciel can always critically hit as per the first passive. Although you'll likely have a lot of luck and thus a high critical chance already, this gives you guaranteed critical hits while you build up a bunch of moon card charges. But much like Chation, you do take double damage, meaning you can save the Pictos that grant critical hit rate for other characters like Lune, and equip the ones that heal and protect Sciel. More importantly, building up a bunch of moon card charges increases the power of your Twilight stance when you use a sun card skill like Marking Card. A 25% increased damage per moon card charge with the second passive means that, eventually, you can simply ignore Twilight state and sun charges as you build exponentially higher damage each round with only moon-based attacks. With a third passive, which grants a moon charge on basic attack, you can quickly build moon card charges and thus damage with Pictos like Combo Attack. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. You can find Blizzon in an area called Falling Leaves when you gain the ability to smash coral reefs with Esquier. This is about midway through Act 2. Follow this channel on the western end of the map to reach Falling Leaves. In the far back of this area, the Chromatic Ballet awaits. I miss Blizzon because I found the Chromatic Ballet far too difficult on the expert difficulty when I first reached them, as they're flying enemies that require free aim shots to defeat. However, if you're determined to take them on, take out the left and right dancers before focusing on the middle one. Be sure to avoid the middle's charm attack, as that'll end your fight rather quickly if it connects. Equipping Pictos that increase starting energy and maybe even burning shots for some extra fire damage isn't a bad idea. So you'll want to fire off a bunch of shots into each dancer's head before using an energy tint on the upcoming character to make sure they too can get off as many shots as possible. Avoid attacking or using a skill to end each turn. With the ballet's curtains closed, you'll obtain Blizzon and can start stacking critical damage. And that's all you need to know to get Sciel's best two early and mid-game weapons in Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Either one will see you through right to the final boss. And maybe like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe so we can continue fulfilling all your gaming needs here at GamerGuides.com.